Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to hopefully sort out this boosting issue. Stay tuned. Alright, so I'm going to jump under the car here and try to fix the exhaust leak from the wastegate. We'll start it up and I've got something that I might have found. Change the angle a little bit, tighten it up, put a washer on there so it could get a bit tighter instead of the nut on this one over here. Going into the B-band clamp, it should be a lot better. It's a lot tighter, and it pulled that up into the wastegate. Actually, I was going to revert my tune back probably about a week, so a few tunes ago. Alright, so I just reverted the tune to the 7th, so 4 days ago. So no transient throttle in there and no O2 long-term fuel trims added. But before I did that, because I was on the long-term fuel trims, it had so many corrections in there from just before, so I'm glad I've reverted back. Let's see how we go. We'll start it up and see if we've got a leak, then I'll test out something that I think might be the problem. I found a vacuum leak. It's not what I thought it was. But when the intercooler pipe blew off, it actually snapped. It snapped this off, the blow-off valve. But it seems like the wastegate leak is no longer, so that's good. Now we've got a blow-off valve leak. So I just pinched off the nipple off the actual fuel pressure regulator, and that went in. So hopefully my vacuum line can go onto that nipple. Right, so the wastegate bracket that I put onto the TD05 was a little flimsy and there was a bit of movement there. So I'm hoping that it was actually that vibrating and creating the pulses in the GT35. Right, one more thing that Mackenzie requested for me to do is to change this boost gauge to actually the TD05. So we've got GT35, GT35. We have TD05, and then on the Haltech we have MAP. So overall, so we're going to try to move this reference and see how we go. I like having this one here because it shows to the decimal, where on here we might not see the difference between 1 psi, but here we can see it. We could see it fluctuating when it was doing the oscillating of the GT35. It sounded like a steam train. Alright, so I've got a different bolt on there, but if that is the cause of the issue, I'll make it definitely a thicker bracket to go in there. It's hard to replace now. Doable, I guess. Yeah, you can see how much it's flexed. That's a shorter bolt. Still got threads there, so that's solid. Alright, so we've got the vacuum boost lines switched around. So this one is popped up here. This is for the gauge. And then from the T, just blocked it off. Now, if I'm correct, we won't see a vacuum here now. That's right. No vacuum now. Vacuum there. Not there. So really, we just need to get boost gauges, don't we? We don't need the vacuum. Alright, well it's saying that there's one there. No. She needs to run. Alright guys, so a bit later I will take it out and see how we go. See if the internal gate flap has anything to do with it as well. Definitely going to have to make a stronger one. It flexes way too much. So we do have material to do that. It is tight at the moment, but if it moves, then it will be loose. So if it starts off good and then it happens, that is the issue. We can have a look at the boost straight from the TD05. Right, the manifold. But we can look at both, or all three really. Alright guys, I'm back. It's about 9:30 now. So I haven't played around with the duty cycle on the boost solenoid, so I've got to change that back to what I just recently did. So 90 or 75% to begin with. So it's slightly open. Probably 90%. The coolant's taking a little while to come up. And also, you can see I don't have an air fuel ratio. Maybe it's fouled up, the sensor. I'm not sure, but we're nearly at 80 degrees, which we are. So all corrections should be off now. It sounds like I've got a bit of an exhaust leak actually, doesn't it? To make sure I move my head out far enough so you can see the digital clearly. What's going on? Well, it didn't do it. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was the internal gate on the TD05. I've got an exhaust leak now, but not doing it. Alright, so it seemed like it didn't compress the surge, but yeah, definitely got an exhaust leak. Try to fix that and we'll do it again. Because it might be all the pressure built up, I'm not sure, but we'll get it sorted. Alright guys, just looking through the log, and this is the boost, and it came in quite well. Nice smooth line there. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, we just need to find the exhaust leak. I might do that tomorrow because it's obviously it's hot at the moment, and we'll visually be able to see it because there'll probably be black stuff around it. Maybe even from the manifold to the up pipe. I saw a couple of drips of condensation, so condensation can come out there, exhaust gases can. So might have a look at that as well. But yeah, I just want to go in and review the video of that drive too and see what pressures we got to, because I didn't reset here, and to see what was going on with the GT35's boost too, because that's what used to fluctuate. Only point whatever, but that's what was making that noise, and I didn't hear it, so I want to see if I can see it. So other than the exhaust leak, I found that drive quite well. You know, I did revert 4 days back on the tune. Still some playing around to do, but probably transient throttle is the big one. Probably just want to turn it on. It's just too much, so we've got to play around with that a bit. Alright guys, I'm back. It's the next day. We need to find this exhaust leak, so I've got to jack up the car, get under there and get that sorted. When I take this out for the next drive, I'm going to drive it, see if it's all good. If it's all good, I'm just going to come down to this bracket and just pull it this way so it gets loose, how it was before. Take for another drive and see if it does the compressor surge. If it does, then it's the bracket. If it doesn't, it was wastegate duty cycle, probably, most likely. But it was fluttering like it does with the wastegate opens on a normal turbo Subaru, how it does that flutter. Alright, so the leak was actually still from this wastegate. It was probably about 1/2 2 mil open on the opposite side. Probably see up here. But I didn't see that until I was actually looking here with the light shining over that way, and I saw that. So took the wastegate off and got this flange apart, pulled it out. Might be able to see there's some exhaust sealant there. There is a gasket in between there, but the way that I've done it, there's like a sleeve that goes into this section. So I just put sealant on both sides of the gasket and slid it back in, went over the sleeve, put that on loosely, and just recently tightened it up all the way. So it should be okay shortly. Change the bolt over on this one here. Now that's nice and tight. So I put that on first, and then I put this one on. So put the tool on the top of this, brought up the piston, got that on, clamped that on, took off the tool, and it looks like it's all tight. I have had a look on the other side and it looks like it's all closed up. Still got an exhaust leak somewhere. Sounds like it. Alright, pretty sure I fixed all the exhaust leaks. It just sounds like it when it's a little bit lower in the RPM. So, I couldn't feel anything. Tightened up a lot of the nuts and bolts. Going to take the fuzz down the street a couple times. We're going to go down once. If it's all good, good. Come back into the driveway. And I'm just going to move over the internal wastegate bracket. And we'll do another run. And if it does the pulsing on the GT35, we know we have found the problem. We're going back. Yeah, smoky. What is going on? Something's not right. Alright, so I have moved that internal wastegate bracket across, so there's a bit of flexibility there. What's going on? I'm just going to go straight back. Maybe I'm on 3. I got a fouled up plug. It's not one thing, it's another, isn't it? I'm going to take the computer inside and have a look at those logs. I don't know what's going on. It's so frustrating. Alright guys, it's Friday now. Couldn't be bothered coming out here last night. So, when it's driving, it doesn't sound very good. It sounds like it's running on 3. So, I'm thinking maybe fouled up plugs. I'm going to pull this O2 sensor out here and see how that looks, because we've been having some issues with the gauge. I think when I pulled this pipe off, that maybe the tune enriched and fouled up the plugs too much. Also, you might have to change the angle a little bit on that. This needs to rotate back down a bit. So now it's touching. It never used to. Alright, so I took the plug out and it was a little bit black, but you know, I just wiped it, didn't spray anything on it, put it back in. I rotated the cooler pipe down a bit more. So, we're going to get the easiest one out, spark plug 1, and have a look at that. I just put the plug back in. I totally forgot to record. It was covered in soot. But the electrode at the top, it was all clean. Just the rest of it was covered in soot. So I cleaned it up a bit. Chucked it back in. These plugs only have a few hundred Ks on them, so I would like to reuse them. I'll definitely be changing them out though when we go for dyno tune. It's very hard to get to the rest of my spark plugs because of my setup. See if I can get to the back one from the top here. Definitely won't be able to get to it from underneath. And yeah, hello rat's nest. We'll see how we go. Right, so I just got spark plug number 2 out, and there it is. It's a bit sooty. So I think it's just, yeah, it's run rich for a bit, probably after I disconnected the GT35. So it wasn't getting as much airflow, it was still dumping fuel in there, and then that's when it started to play up after that. So I'll clean that one up and get that one back in. Hopefully I can get to the back ones. See how we go. I'll get this other one in. Maybe I'll start it up, see how it runs with 2 cleaned up plugs, and I'll play around with the fueling a bit. Too freaking hard to get to these other ones. Got too much stuff in the way. Got that spark plug back in. It wasn't too bad from underneath. Yeah, let's start it up, see how it is. Maybe introduce the long-term fuel trims. Alright, so I just made another discovery that this injector is not that good with some of the wiring. So when I touched this connector, it was going on and off, so I need to check that out. I'll just pull this off and inspect it off the car. Yeah, seems to be a bit loose in there. Alright guys, I think I'm just going to cut this connector off and crimp it and heat shrink. I was eventually going to do that to shorten up the loom because, as you can see, they're way too long. So we'll cut this off, cut this one off, and crimp and heat shrink. Got to remember they are opposite way around, so gotta make sure I get it right. Alright, there we go. New one is on. Never know. Well, yeah, you would, because it's not like any other one. Alright, let's plug it in. And hopefully it runs a bit better. Alright guys, it's after lunch now. Come back, have a look at this again. I've taken out the 2 front ones, cleaned them up. Can't get to the back 2. Fixed this wiring on this injector. I'll actually move this wiring because it's pretty close to the cam sensor. Move that. Hey Poochies, what are you doing? Yeah, move that, see if that's an issue as well. Before I start it up again, I'll see if I can get to this back number 4 cylinder one from underneath before it warms up again. Alright, tried for about half an hour to get that coil unplug out, and I just couldn't. It's too awkward down there. Cooler pipe running through there. I know if it was a normal Forester, I'd probably be able to do it all, and I think I've done it before, but it's just too awkward with the cooler pipe. I'm not taking all that off. Changed over just the location of the connector for the injector. So I'll start up again, see if there's anything wrong with this side with the injector's wiring, and yeah. I don't know guys, it does seem to be running a bit better, free revving, but it is smoky. I think it just needs a good run again. So tonight I'll take it out, but that'll be next episode, unfortunately. Then we'll see if it still makes the compressor surge on the GT35. So fingers crossed this is sorted. Yeah, I think it just needs a good run after the plug's being fouled up a bit, so hopefully we can get it sorted. So unfortunately we didn't fix the issue at hand, but we did find some other ones and fix them, so yay, win on that. If you enjoyed this episode, keep watching my content up here, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye.